Good morning. The Senate Finance Committee is now in session. We have several bills to consider from the House, and we also have concurrences to do. And we'll start with which analyst? With David.
Okay, the first bill, well, it's not a bill, it's a concurrence. This would be Senate Bill 384. This is one of Senator Kelly's bills. The bill concerns two things. It deals with residential service agencies and requires the Attorney General's office, along with Labor and Health, to develop a guidance document to provide education to RSAs about the misclassification of employees. It's also designed to help employees understand whether they're being misclassified. And the focus of these employees are personal care aides employed by residential service agencies. The bill came out of the Senate with only a minor change, and it was mostly clarifying to align the bill ties RSA licenses to this document they're supposed to be prepared. So they're supposed to acknowledge receiving the document, and otherwise their licenses could be in jeopardy. But there's the licensing process has changed. There's an initial license required, but subsequent renewals are no longer done like they used to be. So there was an amendment put on to align that language. The House went further with the bill and specified that there be a form developed by the department regarding this information, and it has to have a checkbox to show management at the RSA received it. And they also have to indicate whether they are using personal care aides designated as independent contractors. But the House also struck, there was reporting language in the bill that required the RSA to report whether they are using independent contractors and how many they are using, and also the hourly rate of the personal care aide. The House struck all that, and I guess instead of that, they added reporting language requiring the Maryland Department of Labor to educate RSAs about misclassification, their efforts, and also required Maryland Department of Health to align their rates with personal care aides with the services provided. I believe the Senator has a proposal here. It's your bill. I don't think you want to concur with this, do you? This is the misclassification.
I know, but if we do nothing, it's worse.
The key change here is it doesn't require them to report on the number of employees they're using who are independent contractors.
It's going to put them in a teaching mode rather than in an action mode, which is weaker, but it's late in session. Do you think we could change the outcome?
I mean, I don't know where they are on this and how much they're going to stick with this. They held their bill and moved both bills. The House bill is in rules right now, so this is the only bill in play right now.
Okay, Senator Biden.
Madam Chair, I'm surprised that that issue is not picked up when they have their workman's comp audit or their unemployment reports, because there's pretty strict rules in Maryland about who can be a subcontractor and who's an employee. And I'm just...
Well, right now, for this particular category of workers, it's just that everybody's out to lunch. There's nothing.
Wow.
Anybody else? Yeah, Senator Klossner.
No, I have a gentleman in the district that he has a terrible time with those with the 1089s or whatever they are.
They can't hear you.
1099s. He has a terrible problem with that because they just kind of work when they want to work, and it's in particular to nursing services type things. And he's been for years has been coming to me and talking to me about it. I've even had him in the health department talking. So it is a problem for these kind of staffing agencies.
As a committee, how do you guys feel about the issue? The issue is that, Senator Augustine.
Chair Kelly, I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I think that you're saying that it's not as strong as what was presented here, but it is a step forward.
That's
so-
kind of my position.
So
on
if
it.
it's a step forward, I think we should move to concur and come back to fight another
Okay,
day.
so you're making a motion. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay. That looks unanimous. All right, thank you.
Okay, so you'll concur on that one. The next one is another bill from Senator Kelly. This is Senate Bill 507. This bill concerns the notification of the attorney, notifying the Attorney General in instances where there is a representative payee for somebody in an assisted living program. The bill came out of the Senate with a change that was not in the House bill that required OHCQ to notify the Office of the Attorney General when it became aware that an assisted living program had been appointed as a representative payee. That wasn't in the House bill. The House bill came over. You added that to the House bill. The House sent the Senate bill back over and left that language alone. It just took an additional piece out that the only time this notification would have to occur would be at the request of the resident. That is struck at the suggestion of Senator Kelly. So I think on this, the bills would be identical if you adopt the House bill, Senate bill without an amendment. So I think you want to concur on here.
Yeah, and the situation here is that all over this state, you got 1,600 small assisted living, many of which won't take the people unless they will sign over their Social Security or whatever they've got, and they handle the person's money. Nobody has a record of this going on, and many of these people don't have close relatives or anybody to overlook. And what we're trying to do is to have this on the record, so somebody in the state of Maryland is aware, and they could audit the situation or check it out from time to time to make sure that these people aren't in effect in slavery, and that somebody else, the people in the assisted living, are holding their money and they can't do anything. So that's what it's about. So do we have a motion to do anything?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Question.
yeah.
These assisted living facilities are very troubling. I put in a bill that's in judicial living facilities who work in these facilities that take care of the disabled. We need, I'm just wondering how we can transfer the regulatory piece to the counties, as opposed to having the state to be in charge, because I don't think they do a good job of overseeing.
Well, right now, there isn't a good state budget anywhere, county or state, to do anything about it. I tell you what, let's get through this, and you and I can talk, because maybe there's
Yeah,
something
we need to
work
do
on
something
next.
about it, I'm telling you.
Okay.
The next concurrence is Senate Bill 286. This is Senator Augustine's bill. The bill alters the Behavioral Health Crisis Response Grant Program by altering the criteria for grant proposals and priorities for awarding grants to local behavioral health authorities, and extending the requirement that the governor provide a certain appropriation to the program through fiscal 2025. The House amendments strike language that would have required the Department of Health to require that proposals for crisis response grants contain response standards that minimize law enforcement interactions, and the House amendments further level funding for the program at $5 million a year for fiscal years 2023, 24, and 25, consistent with the current level of funding.
Okay. Senator Augustine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say to the committee that I want to thank Vice Chair Pena Melnick. She actually let me participate in the work group that we discussed these changes that the House put forward. I think it is a step forward, and so with that, I would ask that we move to concur.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
The next concurrence is Senate Bill 824. Senate Bill 824 requires MDOT and units of local government to allow joint trenching by broadband providers. The House amendments first exempt the Washington Suburban Sanitary District from the bill. That can be found on page 9 of the reprint. The House amendments further make certain provisions contingent on the passage of another bill which recodifies the relevant provisions to the Housing and Community Development article. The issue here is that the second related bill that I referred to containing the recodification was assigned to EHE and Budget and Tax. Later this morning, you'll be asked to vote on the House cross-file, which is identical to Senate Bill 824 as amended.
Okay. Yes, Senator Reed.
I'm just curious, why is Washington sanitation taken out? Is it just, can somebody, I know that's not my area of the state, I'm just curious.
My understanding is that concerns were raised that the provisions of the bill would conflict with existing authority that allows for joint trenching in that area.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
And it is a problem we need to fix, and certainly this pandemic has shown the need for broadband. I mean, we just don't have capacity in half the state. Okay, anybody making a motion? Oh, okay, and who seconded? Okay, all right. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay.
The first bill for your consideration today then is House Bill 1211. This bill establishes the Pre-Seed Builder Fund in TEDCO as the successor to the Pre-Seed Builder Fund that is currently established in TEDCO regulations. The purpose of the fund is support the development and startup of companies run by entrepreneurs from socially or economically disadvantaged backgrounds that hinder access to traditional forms of capital and executive networks at the pre-seed stage. TEDCO must manage and supervise the fund, and the governor must include an appropriation of $5 million in fiscal 2023, $6.2 million in 2024, and $7.5 million annually beginning in 2025. Budget and Tax is second on this bill, and there are no amendments.
Okay, and Budget and Tax has given us their blessing. Okay. Senator Bidel and then Senator Augustine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I don't know if anybody else got this email, but there were, probably a dozen people from various districts around the state worried about TEDCO's discrimination policies, and they were asking for an amendment calling for an investigation of the board of directors and, on the race and gender discrimination. Anybody else remember getting that email?
I got it from a person who testified on something here when we were dealing with the TADCOs that I think that's a disgruntled former employee. She may be right or wrong, but she should go to EEOC or somewhere and not come here to impact this bill, which really is important. This is my take on it. Senator Augustine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to entirely agree with what you said with regard to the importance of this bill, and I would move favorable on the bill.
Okay, can we get a second? All right, so move in a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, yes, Senator Benson.
But I'm going to support the bill, but I don't think we should ignore the notes and the phone calls that we have received regarding what's going on with TEDCO.
Well,
This is not the first time we've heard about it.
Let me say this. We know TEDCO has been going through a lot of trauma and a lot of change, and I think a lot does need to be fixed at TEDCO. But that isn't what this bill is really about. And the issue that the person brought, she had a minor administrative role there for about 2 years in the past, it appears. And as they have made changes from the top down and so on, we this time last year we had Major General Singh there. They have done a lot of things that aren't up to snuff. some of you who really are interested in making sure that TEDCO's mission is clear and that it is appropriate and that it is properly implemented might want to put together your own work group and work for next year to be sure. But there's nothing at the end of this session we can do about TEDCO. We don't even have anything to attach it to in terms of what is before us. Okay. So we've got a motion and a second on this bill. Yes, did your hand up? Okay. All right. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you.
Next is House Bill 1328. This is the House cross-file of the joint trenching bill that that the committee moved to conform or concur.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay.
Next bill on the voting list is HB 1375, Health Information Exchanges, Electronic Health Information Sharing and Disclosure. This is the bill that was heard yesterday. This is the one that requires the Maryland Healthcare Commission to adopt regulations that require the state-designated health information exchange to develop and maintain a consent management application. Among other requirements, the consent management application must or disclosed by a health information exchange, an HIE, provide an HIE with the opt-out status of a person and prohibit an HIE from sharing or disclosing the information if the person is opted out. The bill requires the Healthcare Commission to establish penalties for noncompliance with the regulations, and MHCC, in consultation with certain stakeholders, also must make a recommendation on an updated statutory definition of a health information exchange and report its recommendation to certain legislative committees here.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you. Does that end our agenda for the morning? Thank you very much, colleagues.